condition have white skin and hair with light blue or pink eyes. Melanin is produced by cells called melanocytes, which are mostly found in your skin and eyes, but also in your hair. People with darker skin have a higher concentration of melanin in their skin as opposed to fair-skinned people.
Assalamualaikum and hi to my lecturer and my friends. My name is Shafiq. Today, I want to give a speech about the disadvantages of albinism people. Albinism is a rare group of genetic disorder that cause the skin, the eyes, and the little or no color. Albinism is also associated with vision problem, and there are no cure for albinism. Albinism is genetic conditions, and there are two types of albinism. The most common type is oculatinous albinism, or we call OCA, which means a person inherited two copies of mutated genes from each parents. OCA causes disease pigment in the skin, hair, eyes, and as well as vision problems. The amount of pigmentations varies by type, and the resulting color of skin, hair, eyes, and also varies by within type. For another types, it's called ocular albinism. This type is focused to the eyes, causing vision problem. Ocular albinism occur almost exclusively in males, and it much less common than OCA. Have you ever wondered on how life would be living as an albino people? So here in my speech, I want to inform you about the restriction being an albinism people. There are three disadvantages of being albinism, which is the first one is mental health, effect on mental health. The second is eye problem associated with albinism, and the last is increased risk of sunburn and skin cancer. The first restriction of an albino is effect on mental health for albino person, because this effect people with albinism have poor self-esteem. Why albinism have poor self-esteem? Because they always expected that they not like a normal people because of their skin, their hair, and their eyes. I'm sure being an albino person is not easy to continue living in surrounding community, because these albino people will always be looked at a strangely labeled as a sick person and have no advantage. For example, societies that are less educated and irresponsible are often to body shaming and sideway to this albino person because they look different from the rest of us. Not that only, albinism person sometimes has problem making friends because they different from the others. For children and teenagers also have the same problems. In fact, they potentially have problem in terms of academics achievement because they always feel they are unworthy and always in bottom place. For example, they cannot participate in sport activities, school or college. Being a typical mean that they got a frequent gaze from people, often causing serious discomfort them in conducting their daily life. For second restriction being an albinism is eyes problem. Eyes are something that is a valuable gift from God, so we as a normal people, we should be grateful with a gift. There are eyes problem faced by albinism people like photophobia. Photophobia means eyes of albinism are very sensitive to lights. This is because albinism is limited in terms of external movement and doing outdoor activities. To prevent this problem from getting worse, they need to avoid sitting under the sun for longer and do not engage in activities involving too much heat. Albinism people also have amblyophobia, or called lazy eyes. This problem is reduced vision in one eye caused by abnormal visual development early in life. To reduce this problem, albinism need to do some treatment. The main treatment for lazy eyes is wear glasses, eye exercise, and surgery, and injection into the eyes muscles. The biggest problem to albinism, because they are contrast in regard to a normal persons, their eyes lack the pigmentation, thus causing them to have a limited visions and rare, always sensitive to the light. Non-albino persons should be aware with those limitations that the albino person has and be accommodating and ready to help them carrying out tasks that involve such a good vision as a requirement. The third restriction is increased risk of sunburn and skin cancer. This is because people with albinism lack of melanin in their skins. They are increased risk getting sunburn and skin cancer because if they do not take good care of their skin, therefore they are not encouraged to do outdoor activities in hot weather, and albinism should wear sunscreen with a high protection. An SPF of 30 or more will provide the best protections. They need high and extra care about skin in order to minimize the chance of getting the skin cancer. The disadvantages that they are willing to make sure this does not happen and does not get worse. They should prevent this from happening without being under sun and always protect their eyes with sunglasses. Among thus mentioned before, the limitation allow the albinos to have direct control toward minimizing the increase of sunburn and skin cancer. Quite a few of measures they can take in order to reduce the risk, such as limiting the time under the direct sunlight exposure, applying dedicated sunblock to block those harmful rays present within the sunlight. Finally, it may be concluded there are many limitations. Finally, it may be concluded there are many limitations that associated with albinism. The disadvantages are the first effect of mental health. The second is eyes problem with albinism, and the last is increased risk of sunburn and skin cancer. As a concluding remarks, I left you with a quote to raise the awareness regarding albinism. Change in your skin won't change you as an individual. We have to delve into their perspective to be aware and more understanding toward the limitation that associated with it. A person's skin color should not be subjected toward people judgment and will never be.